Deep beneath the shimmering surface of the turquoise sea, in a realm untouched by sunlight, lies a kingdom of breathtaking beauty. This is Coralia, a sprawling metropolis built from living, breathing coral that glows with an inner light, painting the deep in hues of sapphire, emerald, and ruby. Towers of staghorn coral spiral towards the ocean ceiling, connected by bridges of delicate sea fans. Anemones pulse with soft, rhythmic light, and schools of neon fish dart through the streets like living jewels. At the heart of this vibrant city, within the grandest palace of pearlescent shell and polished obsidian, resides the ruler of this domain, the Seahorse King. He is a figure of quiet majesty, his form more intricate and regal than any of his subjects. His crown is woven from the rarest of seaweeds, studded with pearls that hold the light of 1,000 dawns. His scales shimmer with an iridescent sheen, and his long, curled tail anchors him to a throne of pure, crystallized salt. For generations, the Seahorse King has maintained the delicate balance of his kingdom, his rule as gentle and constant as the tides. The citizens of Coralia, from the tiniest shrimp to the most majestic manta rays, live in a state of serene harmony. The city's pulse is one of peace, a soft hum of life that echoes through the coral canyons. But even in the deepest, most peaceful corners of the world, shadows can gather. It began with a tremor, a subtle shudder that ran through the very foundations of the coral city. The fish paused in their elegant dance, their fins stilling. The glowing anemones dimmed for a moment, as if holding their breath. The Seahorse King, from his throne, felt it to a deep, unsettling vibration that spoke of something ancient and hungry awakening. The tremors grew stronger, more frequent. Small cracks began to appear in the vibrant coral structures, spider webbing across walls that had stood for centuries. Dust like sediment, disturbed from the seabed, clouded the crystalline water. A collective anxiety rippled through the populace. The peaceful hum of the city was replaced by a nervous, discordant murmur. The king dispatched his swiftest scouts, barracudas with eyes like polished silver, to investigate the source of the disturbance. They sped towards the outer reefs, the dark, unexplored territories that bordered the kingdom, but none returned. A palpable fear began to seep into Coralia, a cold current that even the warm, glowing coral could not dispel. Then, with a cataclysmic roar that shook the very water, the outer reef wall exploded inwards. A monstrous form burst through, a creature of nightmare born from the darkest abyss. It was a coral dragon eel, a legendary beast thought to be mere myth. Its body was a colossal, serpentine mass of jagged, corrupted coral, its scales sharp as volcanic rock. Its head was a terrifying fusion of dragon and Murray, with a jaw that unhinged to reveal rows upon rows of needle-sharp teeth, each capable of crunching through the strongest coral if it were brittle chalk. Its eyes were hollow pits of malevolent green fire, burning with an insatiable hunger. The creature was devastation incarnate. It moved with terrifying speed, its massive body coiling and striking, devouring everything in its path. Entire coral towers were smashed to rubble, entire schools of fish swallowed in a single, horrifying gulp. The vibrant colors of Coralia were consumed by the creature's dark, deadening presence. Panic erupted. Citizens fled in every direction, a chaotic storm of fins and tentacles, but the dragon eel was relentless, its destructive rampage turning the peaceful city into a maelstrom of ruin and despair. The Seahorse King watched from his palace as his beautiful kingdom was torn asunder. His heart ached with every shattered spire, with every cry of his people, but this was not a moment for sorrow. It was a moment for a king. He was not just a ruler of peace. He was the guardian of the deep, the inheritor of ancient ocean magic. With a resolve as hard as diamond, he uncoiled his tail from the throne and floated into the heart of the chaos. His regal presence cut through the panic. A silent command emanated from him and his royal guard. An elite force of swordfish knights with bills like polished lances formed a protective circle around the fleeing citizens, guiding them towards the shelter of the deepest caves. Alone, the Seahorse King faced the monstrous eel. The dragon eel, sensing a challenge, a worthy meal, turned its fiery gaze upon the small, defined figure. It let out a guttural hiss, a sound like grinding continents, and lunged, but the king was ready. He raised his head, and the pearl on his crown began to glow with an intense, pure white light. The very currents of the ocean answered his call. The water around the Seahorse King began to swirl, to bend to his will. He was a maestro conducting an orchestra of the tides. The powerful ocean currents, once formless and vast, were drawn to him, coalescing, twisting, and sharpening under his silent command. They spun faster and faster, forming into luminous, spiraling blades of pure, pressurized water. These were the legendary tide stratters, ethereal weapons that could slice through stone and steel. The air, or rather the water, crackled with raw power. The Coral Dragon Eel hesitated for a fraction of a second, its primal instincts sensing a power that dwarfed its own brute strength. But its ravenous hunger overrode its fear. With another earth-shaking roar, it charged, its cavernous mouth opened wide, ready to swallow the king and his light whole. The Seahorse King met the charge not with fear, but with grace. He danced through the water, a fluid ballet of evasion and attack. As the eel snapped at him, he would pivot and a glowing water blade would lash out, carving deep gouges into the creature's rocky hide. The eel thrashed in fury and pain, its massive tail leveling what remained of the city's gardens. It was a battle of raw, destructive force against focused, elegant power. For what felt like an eternity, the duel raged. The ocean floor was scarred, the water thick with coral dust and the echoes of their clash. The dragon eel was wounded, bleeding a dark, viscous ooze, but its fury only grew. It coiled its massive body, preparing for a final, all-consuming strike, intending to crush the king and his magic in one last, desperate act of destruction. The Seahorse King knew this was the final moment. He had to end it now, or his kingdom would be lost forever. He gathered every ounce of his energy, pouring all his royal power, the legacy of his ancestors, into one ultimate manifestation of his will. The scattered water blades dissolved, flowing back towards him, merging into a single, magnificent weapon. It was a spiraling lance of pure, condensed ocean, glowing with the light of a supernova, humming with a power that made the sea itself tremble. This was the royal maelstrom, the ultimate strike of a Seahorse King. With a final, piercing cry that was both a challenge and a prayer, he launched himself forward, becoming one with the tidal lance. He struck the Coral Dragon Eel directly in its chest, the point of impact glowing brighter than a star. There was no sound, only a blinding flash of pure, white light that consumed everything. For a moment, the entire ocean seemed to hold its breath. Then a wave of silent energy expanded outwards from the point of impact. The Coral Dragon Eel froze, its fiery eyes flickering and then extinguishing. Cracks filled with brilliant light spread across its entire corrupted form. With a final, silent shudder, the colossal creature shattered. It did not break into chunks of rock. It disintegrated into a fine shimmering dust of broken coral, which hung in the water for a moment like a ghostly nebula before slowly beginning to drift down to the ocean floor. The battle was over. Silence descended upon the ruined city, a heavy, somber quiet. The Seahorse King, exhausted but resolute, floated in the center of the devastation. Slowly, the citizens began to emerge from their shelters, their eyes wide with awe and relief. Their king had saved them. Harmony, though scarred, began to return. The coral dust from the vanquished eel settled, and over time, it would provide the nutrients for new coral to grow. The kingdom was wounded, but it was not dead. Under the watchful eye of their brave king, the people of Coralia began to rebuild, their spirits united and stronger than ever before. The ocean had found its balance once more. Thank you so much for joining us on this epic underwater tale. If you enjoyed the story of the Seahorse King and his courageous stand, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories from Hidden Realms. We love bringing these worlds to life for you. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an adventure. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.